to Career Uprising. I'm your host and professional career coach, Lorraine Rise. Join me as I guide you through an amazing journey of self-discovery and empowerment. If you are looking for work, changing careers, or stuck in a toxic job, then this is the show for you. I offer both practical and spiritual guidance to help you up-level and advance your career. Let's start the uprising. Hey everybody, you are listening to episode 34, How to Turn Interviews into Offers. Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm Lorraine Rise, and I'm so happy to be with you. I say that every show, I know I do, but it's because it's true. I love my show. I love my life. I love my listeners. I've just been really just overwhelmingly filled with gratitude the last couple of days and weeks. Things are really picking up with Work Smart Career Counseling and my coaching because the new year's coming. So I always get really excited. It's kind of the busy season for me with what I do. So I'm getting back into it after kind of a little bit of a lull in November, which is fine. Got some family time in there, had Thanksgiving, but now I'm gearing up for the new year and you're a part of that. So welcome to the show. So I hope you also have been having a wonderful holiday season so far. And if you are not familiar with me and my mission, what I do is I help to ease the pain of career transitions, job searching, and whatever else might come up in your professional life. That's what this show and what I am all about. So if that's what you need, you have found the right place. So part of course, finding your purpose and everything means finding work that you love doing. And part of finding work that you love doing means being able to interview confidently and effectively so that you are chosen for the job. And so getting called in for interviews is a part of that. And it's one part of a successful job search. So if you're going to land the job, of course, you've got to ace the interview, right? It's not just about the resume. You have to get through that next step as well. But what does that mean, right? What does that mean to ace the interview? How do you do that? What makes employers choose one person over another, right? How do you become hireable and become chosen? Well, that's what today's episode is going to talk about. It's what we're going to reveal. Some of the top characteristics that employers want in a candidate across all industries and some practical tips for how you can capitalize on that and increase your chances of winning the job by performing better in interviews. All right. So if you also have listened to my show before, you know my philosophy. I am all about authenticity. When you're authentic, you're more confident. When you're more confident, you perform better in the interview, and then you're more likely to get the job. And not just the job, but the right job, right? Not just any job. So that is our topic for today. So thanks for joining me for the ride. And if you haven't done so yet, I always let people know before we dive in that I have a wonderful growing community that you can be a part of for no cost and get additional support. When you sign up to be in my email family, you get strategies for interview success, which is perfect given today's topic. Excellent. So I would highly recommend while you're listening right now, you can hop on over to worksmartcounseling.com, opt in for my emails, and bam, right there in your inbox, you'll get my guide, and it will help you get better prepped for your next interview. So that'll be a great supplement to this show. You can also find me, of course, on Facebook in my group, Career Uprising, and LinkedIn. But we have a topic to get to today. All right. So a common theme that I have noticed as someone who's coached hundreds of people over the last couple of years, a really common theme that I have noticed is the tendency to focus heavily on the role of the resume in the job search, believing that a resume will get them the job. So if this is you, it's okay. A lot of people believe that. And sometimes that is the case, but not usually. let me be clear here. Resumes themselves rarely get people jobs. Rarely. It could happen, but is as the exception to the rule, not the rule. Your resume will likely get you interviews, although even that doesn't even happen that often. Even that is a sometimes. But interviews are what get you job offers. Okay, so interviews and networking, both of which rely heavily really on relationships and communication. So those are two key skills that you're going to need there in order to A, get the interview and then nail it, right? You're going to need relationship development and you're going to need communication. And we're talking about communication of yourself, which is really hard. A lot of people struggle with that. But time after time, the clients who get the best and fastest results in their job search campaigns are the ones who take a comprehensive approach, and then they invest the time, the money, the effort, whatever it is, into improving their networking and interviewing skills, not just their resume. It's a whole process, right? A job search is the sum of its parts, not one individual part. So understand that job searching is a process with multiple parts, all right? But we're going to focus in today on the interview part and how to interview like a badass. We'll just call it that, right? That's what it is, so that you can be chosen and get the job you want, because it's useless to just get interviews and not get offers. That's frustrating, right? It's you're investing so much of your time and energy into this process. So we need to make it worthwhile. we need the outcome, right? We need the job offer. So here's my little math equation that I have for you to kind of simplify this whole thing. A strong resume plus confident interviewing plus strategic networking equals job offers. I'll say that again. A strong resume plus confident interviewing plus strategic networking equals job offers. There's your recipe. Now we'll dig into the confident interviewing part a little bit more, okay? But that's what I want you to keep in the back of your mind. So I'm going to outline for you 5 specific steps that you can take to elevate your interview performance and therefore increase the number of offers that you are likely to receive. Number 1, and this won't shock you based on what I just said earlier in the show. Number 1, be authentic. So in addition to job-related skills, employers are very much assessing your personality, your confidence, and your communication skills. In most cases, they're looking for someone who is confident, not cocky or, competitive necessarily, but they're looking, in other words, for authenticity. Are you who you say you are? And do you know who you are? They want people who know who they are professionally. The more relaxed and natural you can be, the better you'll perform in the interview because the pressure is off. You don't have this mindset of, I have to be perfect or I have to impress them and say all the right things. That will never get you the right job. And it's only going to feel fake and make you more nervous. And I know because I used to have that mentality when I was in my 20s, okay? Being yourself in the interview also ensures that you only get offers from companies where you truly fit in and will be successful. A lot of people feel like they can't be themselves in the interview. They have to be whoever the interviewer wants them to be. But who is that? Do we even know? I mean, you're just guessing who you think the interviewer might want you to be. You don't even know. So you're better off just being yourself and doing your best and letting them hire you for you. Trust me, it's in your best interest. Obviously, of course, we want to exercise common sense and not give responses that, nearly anyone would interpret negatively or anything. But I trust you not to do that. Your intuition, I think, knows where that line is. But step 1 is be authentic. Number 2, we're going to take it a little step further and get a little more specific. Focus on solving the company's problems. Even if you don't consider yourself right now to be a, quote, problem solver, you are. Okay? No matter what line of work you are in, You play a role in solving a problem for an employer. Well, what kinds of problems do employers have? Lots, let me tell you, okay? Lots. Not making enough sales and money, inefficient processes, a lack of quality control, understaffing, technical problems. The list goes on and on. Every company has problems, and that is why they are hiring you as an employee. If they didn't have a problem, they wouldn't have a need to open the position. So there is a problem, and you can solve it. So think carefully about the role you are interviewing for and ask yourself, what problem would this position likely solve? Why are they opening this position? What is it that they need? What is the gap or the void that needs to be filled specifically? And there might be more than one. And then brainstorm how you've done that in the past. And I'm sure you have done it, or you wouldn't be applying for the job. It wouldn't be relevant for you. If the job is relevant enough for you to apply for it and feel like you're qualified, that means you've probably solved similar problems in past positions. You just need to nail down and crystallize how you've done it. So employees, maybe this will help you. Employees typically make contributions to the business in one or more of the following ways: money, people, time, and quality. Money, people, time, and quality. Think about those four concepts and how they apply to your work. Do you hire and train employees? That's people. Do you perform audits, safety checks, process improvement? That's quality. Do you solve technical problems? Things like that? You get the picture. It comes down to money, people, time, or quality at a high level. Okay? All right. So chew on that for a couple of minutes. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but there's a lot more. I actually have 3 more tips for you for how you can elevate your interview performance and become more hireable and desirable. Okay? We'll be right back, folks. Hey, everyone. While the show takes just a quick break, I want to invite you to connect with me personally to get help in your career. If you like what you've heard so far, sign up for my mailing list so you can be a part of my community. I offer all kinds of career-related advice, and I have a free guide that I created just for you called Strategies for Interview Success, and you'll get it instantly in your inbox as soon as you sign up. Head over to worksmartcounseling.com/signup. That's worksmart, counseling.com/signup, or go to my show page on inflowradio.com and get on the list today. All right, let's get back to the show. Hey, everybody. All right. We are back. So before that quick little break, we laid the foundation for what you need to focus on in order to convert your interviews into offers. Okay, and I'll give you a hint. It's not the resume. That's what we said before. But we're talking today about turning interviews into offers because that's what you really want. That's what you're really after. So here are the remaining 3 factors that you need to consider to elevate your interview performance. Number 3, give compelling and specific examples of your past success. Because now remember in number 2, we said focus on solving the company's problems. So you are just identifying what the problem is. But here now we're going to take it a step further and actually brainstorm specific examples of how you've solved those problems. Okay, so there's a method for this that will probably help you. So I teach my coaching clients a method called CAR. It's called the CAR format. Okay, CAR is an acronym, stands for Challenge, Action, Result, and it's a great simple method for pulling out relevant and specific accomplishments. It's a great framework, basically, that you can kind of focus your answers around. And you can use this for writing bullet points on your resume or, as we're talking about, formulating interview answers. Okay. And it's going to eliminate the need for the interviewer to ask you a bunch of follow-up questions because you're going to nail it. You're going to answer their question the first time right out of the gate and give them what they want with this method. Okay. So always be specific, always be brief, and never give generalizations. They do not want you to say, well, that was, always kind of a part of my job. I did it every day. God, happened a lot. And they don't want that. One specific example is worth 1,000 generalizations, okay? What they want is for you to state what was the challenge, what was the action that you specifically took, and what was the result or the outcome. This is what they're after. So I'm going to give you an example in just a second. I'm going to read you a potential response. And this is one that I helped develop with an actual client of mine a number of years ago who I did interview coaching with. And she was a billing specialist. She did like invoices and accounting type work. So let's say, for example, maybe this could be a response to a number of different questions. But let's say, for example, the question was, tell me about a time when you had to get buy-in for a new initiative. What was the initiative and how did you do it? So I'm going to read you now a CAR, challenge, action, result, response to this question. So here's the response. Our current system for processing invoices was fairly time consuming because a lot of it was still manual. So I pitched the idea to my supervisor about automating parts of this process and shared with them how it could decrease our processing time and reduce the manpower behind it. So I set up a meeting with the IT department to see what would be involved and how feasible it would be. And then I presented that to management. And after implementation, we were able to move to an automated system that decreased our processing time by 30%. There you go. Short and sweet. In 4 sentences, I laid out the challenge, the action, and the result. So I challenge you now in your interview prep to brainstorm at least 3 or 4 of these that might be relevant to the role. And you don't know exactly what questions you're going to be asked, but that doesn't matter. If you brainstorm a couple of good CAR, as we'll call them, stories, you will find yourself well prepared. And it's very likely that no matter what they ask, you're probably going to draw upon at least 1 or 2 of the scenarios that you brainstormed. So this is something that I have done myself in interview prep. I use it with my coaching clients currently. So you're getting some inside guidance on how to use this method. I highly recommend it. So if you want more information too, just do a Google search. You can find tons of information. Just do CAR statements. There's some other similar methods out there. I think there's STAR, STAR, and some other ones. I like CAR. I think it keeps it nice and simple. So try that for your interview prep. Okay. But bottom line is you need to give compelling and specific examples of how you've actually solved their problems or demonstrated whatever behavior it is that they're asking about. Okay. Number 4, ask thoughtful questions at the end of every interview. So when you're given the opportunity, I want you to always ask the interviewer questions. When they say, do you have any questions for us? I don't want you to sit there and just go, no, I'm good. This is an opportunity for you to show that you've done research on the company, that you have thoughtful, intelligent questions prepared, and that you are also interviewing them to make sure they're a good match for you, because that is important. So we don't necessarily want to just ask questions just for the sake of asking questions, but ask things that you actually want to know. Be authentic. Like I said, authenticity is pretty easily detectable. And if you're not sure what questions to ask, well, there's a lot of good ones. I would generally say not to focus too much on pay and benefits, at least not if it's a first interview. Focus more on company culture, the responsibilities of the job, the scope of your responsibility, what does the team look like? even professional development opportunities is fine. Anything related to the company, the job, the culture, those are very safe topics, we'll say. But it's in your best interest really to delay the salary, the benefits, schedule, all that stuff until you're further in the process and deemed more of a final candidate. So, but if you need help, contact me. I love doing interview coaching, and I think I'm pretty darn good at it. So we'll do some interview prep sessions, and I'll go through my arsenal of practice questions so we can really arm you with some good questions that you can be prepared for, but also ask the employer to determine if you're a good cultural fit. All right, moving right along here, guys. So number 5, at the end of the interview, determine a plan for follow-up. Don't leave the interview without getting the names and the contact information for who you met with. Ask the interviewer what the expected timeline is, when you should expect to hear back, and that way you can take appropriate action and not necessarily be a stalker because you know what to expect, right? So if you don't hear back within that time frame, yes, go ahead, give a one-time follow-up to see if you can get an update. Your goal here is to be responsive and show interest, but not be aggressive or annoying, right? There's a balance to be found there. One follow-up message I typically think is appropriate. If you don't get a reply, you need to move on. You don't want to spend too much time or energy on employers that aren't really interested in you as well. Again, remember, it's a two-way street, okay? But make sure you know what the plan is and what the timeline is so that you can respect that and not be following up sooner when they don't have a decision yet, right? Okay, so here's the bottom line, guys. Here's my last piece of advice for this. You really, at the end of the day, need to demonstrate that you can solve the employer's problems. That is the most important thing. And in order to do that, you have to really research them and practice delivering a confident and authentic solution, okay? And the best way to do that is through specific, relevant examples of how you've solved similar problems. If you can solve their problems, they will hire you. I promise you. And regardless of your age, even if you're 50 plus, if you have what they need and you can convey that message and get them to believe that you have what they need, they will hire you. And practice, practice, practice. Practice saying your interview responses out loud, not just in your head. It's not enough. Trust me, those are two different things. It always sounds good and sounds one way in our head, but it's harder to actually get it out of your mouth. So I would highly recommend practicing with an interview coach or at least in the mirror, a friend, a family member. I tend to find that someone, kind of objective, not your friends or family, often is the best thing, but it's better than nothing. But start practicing. Okay, my friends, that's it for my last episode of 2018. Oh my goodness, episode 34. Wow, I can't believe it. So if you have a question that you'd like answered or want to be coached on air, you can always email me at Lorraine@careeruprising.com. I will be back better than ever in the new year with a fresh round of topics. I'm so excited. I've been planning a lot of awesome topics out for 2019, so it's going to be better than ever. And as always, I kind of take a little bit of time off and hibernate just a bit the last couple of weeks of the year so I can be ready for what's coming in the next year. This time is really just essential for me to reflect on my own accomplishments, kind of like you're doing, and gear up for the busy season. So I would encourage you to do the same, but I hope you have a wonderful holiday, a wonderful new year, and I will be back and talk to you guys in 2019. Take care. That's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard today, please consider giving the show a positive review on iTunes. It would mean a lot to me, and it would help to spread the word so that others can learn about the show. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to connect with you again next time on Career Uprising.
This show is brought to you by InflowRadio.com, the best curated talk radio network for personal development, wellness, spirituality, and conscious business.